Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randirhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinker podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
Hey!
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
So what happened is I called him and I said, you know, I want to find, first of all, how are you doing? How are you doing? And he said, honestly, I'm down a little bit, but I think we're going to go. I said, I think you're going to come back too, Luther. I think you're going to come back and you're going to kick everyone's ass and you're going to do great. You're going to do great. Because he got saddled with things that he should not have gotten saddled with. So he started off here. He was in third or fourth. He went to third, second, and now it's like almost pretty even, right?
Yeah, 10 points.
And I called him up a week ago, and I said, you know, I think you're down by a few points, but I'm going to come to Alabama, and I'm going to make a speech for you. So I said, I'll be there. And then I saw some things that I didn't like. He was down a little further than I liked. I said, I'm not sure. And I said, Luther, you have got what it takes. You have really got it. And let's go. That was 2 months ago. And
2 months.
You got yourself an even race. If you guys go out and vote, if he gets out to vote, you're going to win. You're going to have a great senator.
What an endorsement. And then it saw some things I didn't like.
But I'll have to say this. So Luther did that for me. And I remembered Luther. We have to be loyal in life, you know? There's something called loyalty with these folks.
Yeah, right.
And I might have made a mistake. And I'll be honest. I might have made a mistake.
Oh.
Because, you know, here's a story. Oh! If Luther doesn't win, they're not going to say we picked up 25 points in a very short period of time.
25? I thought it was even.
Donald Trump, the President of the United States, was unable to pull his candidate across the line. It is a terrible, terrible moment for Trump. This is total embarrassment. I mean, these are bad people. And by the way, both good men. Both good men.
Oh, what an
And you know
endorsement.
what? And I told Luther, I have to say this, if his opponent wins, I'm going to be here campaigning like hell for him.
Oh, what a great endorsement that was. Oh, was that good. And Luther, or loser with a lisp, Luther lost, and Luther is a loser, and so is Trump. I don't know what else to say. Trumpism actually won last night. That's the crazy part. Trumpism won last night in Alabama, but Trump was on the other side of Trumpism. Do you know? I mean, he's so incompetent that he can lose while winning. It's just so much winning. So much. So much. I tell you, we just elected ourselves a very strange man, this Roy Moore. He, you know, everybody thinks it's just going to be confined to Alabama. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, we do have a general election that we have to still go through. This was just the Republican primary in Alabama. And the people in Alabama, it's almost like they're in a race to pick the most lunatic, fringy person they can find. And really look no further than Judge Roy Moore, who's been removed from the Alabama Supreme Court for defying court orders. Yeah, I mean, he has no respect for the court. He has no respect for our justice system. He's perfect. Twice. I mean, 2 times. One time because he was ordered, you know, by court order, he was ordered to remove the 10 Commandments, the 5,000-pound 10 Commandments monument that he put into the Alabama Supreme Court without even talking to his colleagues that also sit on the Alabama Supreme Court. I mean, he didn't even tell his fellow justices that he was going to do this. He did it in the middle of the night. He had the whole thing erected and, you know, whatever. And then, you know, when the court actually ordered him to remove it, he said no. And so they fired him. They literally removed him from the bench, which is so rare. And then Alabama elected him again in 2013. And he has been very vocal about, his hatred for gays. I mean, he despises gay people. He sat down with our friend Bill Press. You know Bill Press, right? He sat down with Bill Press one time on C-SPAN, and Bill Press was asking him about, so you believe that homosexual behavior, you believe that, homosexuality is, punishable, and he wanted to punish it by law, okay? Wanted to punish it by law. Well, turns out that Alabama tried to install a ban on gay marriage, and it failed. So there was no ban. And what did Roy Moore do? He violated the court's findings that it was completely constitutional, and he went around to all of the people that hand out licenses, marriage licenses, the justices of the peace and the civil, and forbade them to issue marriage licenses. And then the Supreme Court made, nationally, they made gay marriage a right. They made gay marriage, permit. And what did he do? Then he went around and doubled down and told everybody in Alabama, we will not follow anything the Supreme Court tells us to do, and I don't want you to issue it. And so they suspended him for the rest of his term on the Alabama Supreme Court. And then he ran for Senate, and freaks there elected him. So it's not just that this is now confined to Alabama. Now he goes to the United States Senate, where he can, be a one-man wrecking crew for, justice and freedom and civil liberties that were hard fought for, hard won, and now, apply to Americans. I mean, he's a very twisted guy.
I think it's a yes or no. Do you think that homosexuality or homosexual conduct should be illegal today? That's a yes or no question.
Homosexual conduct should be illegal. Yes.
Should be illegal.
Yes.
That means that what two consenting adults do behind the privacy of their closed bedroom door should be illegal activity?
It is immoral. It is defined by the law as detestable. It was against the law in most states until the Supreme Court in Lawrence v. Texas said that it wasn't.
Oh, for Pete's sake. He wants to go back to sodomy laws. I mean, this guy, listen, and I got news for you. He's like a one-man Senate version of dead-ender Freedom Caucus dudes, okay, in the House. He's a wrecking crew for the Republican agenda, and that is how Steve Bannon wants it. And Steve Bannon campaigned for this freak. He did. He literally campaigned for this guy who has violated court orders as a member of the highest court in Alabama 2 times and was removed from that court 2 times. So let's not be lectured to by Donald Trump or by Steve Bannon or Breitbart or anybody else about what is, the right thing to do in America. I mean, these people violate court orders. These people don't respect the law. They think, they are purveyors of Sharia law, except, this Christian dominionism. This is just unbelievable. So Trump attacks Mitch McConnell for months, right? This is what he's been doing. He attacks Mitch McConnell for months, and then he ties himself to Luther Strange, a guy who has 10 million reasons in dollars to be loyal to Mitch McConnell. Donald, you don't throw someone under the bus when you're chained to them. So this is the judgment of our president. This is what we have here. And, he said he regretted his choice even as he was making his choice. So now maybe he has something in common with the millions of us who, regret that he's our president. Maybe now he knows how we feel today. Gotta say. But this guy is dangerous. And, he's going to be the gift that keeps on giving. This guy, I'm telling you, you think, conservatives now are an issue when it comes to, identity politics or, expanding civil rights to all people who are citizens. Wait until you see what a guy who believes in the Bible over the Constitution starts voting for and starts, advocating for. And here's his record. Here's Roy Moore's record, just so you know. I'm not making this crap up, okay? In 2001, he was the Chief Justice. He had risen all the way to the top of the Alabama Supreme Court, and then he decided to use his power to install a 5,280-pound granite Ten Commandments monument in the rotunda of the Alabama Supreme Court in the middle of the night. In the middle of the night. He never told his fellow justices about it. He said, I am the highest legal authority in the state, and I want it there. there was this long legal battle that you people in Alabama who take money from the blue states because you're so freaking backward and poor that you spent on defending Judge Roy Moore's claim that he's the last authority, that he, as a Supreme Court justice, as the Chief Justice, he can make the law. He can make the law. Whatever happened, the Supreme Court doesn't make the law. He made the law, okay? And he was then fired and removed from the court. In 2002, he wrote an opinion in a child custody case, and he stated in that case, in writing, he wrote this down, that homosexuality is an inherent evil and an aberrant, immoral, detestable crime against nature and a violation of the laws of nature and of nature's God, and ruled against a same-sex couple having custody of their child. Then in November of 2003, the Alabama Court of the Judiciary ousted him from office for refusing to follow a federal court order that said, remove the 10 Commandments. And he said, I would do it all over again. In 2006, he started writing about Representative Keith Ellison, who is Muslim, from Minnesota. What that has to do with Alabama, I have no idea. But he said that he shouldn't serve in Congress and that we shouldn't let him get sworn in because we wouldn't allow somebody to be sworn in on the Communist Manifesto. So why are we allowing him to be sworn in on the Quran if that's what he so chooses? This is unbelievable, okay? Only his religion matters. Nobody else's, just Roy's. And just Roy's particular view of his religion matters, right? Then in 2012, he said at a Tea Party rally that same-sex marriage would be the ultimate destruction of our country because it destroys the very foundation upon which this nation is based. Somebody better go look at President James Buchanan, who was never married. And then after a federal court judge struck down Alabama's same-sex marriage ban, he went around to all the judges, the probate judges, and he issued them orders not to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. Then his foundation, oh yeah, Roy Moore has a foundation, they shared a video in 2015 that said that Obama was a Muslim and that he should not be sworn in and that he's not fit to. And this, I've seen it. His wife has it on her page too, Kayla, and it's highly edited because Obama was, remember the Cairo speech? He was extending an olive branch to the Muslim world, saying we should work together, we can work together. This guy, and they edited it to make it sound like Obama was a Muslim, okay? And then in 2016, the Supreme Court legalized same-sex marriage nationwide, and Judge Roy Moore issued an order directing the state probate judges to continue enforcing a same-sex marriage ban in the state of Alabama. And that's when the Alabama Judicial Inquiry Commission suspended him from his post for the remainder of his term. And earlier this year, he said Islam is a false religion and said that Vladimir Putin's views on gay rights, he said Putin is right. Putin is right. And maybe I'm more akin to him than I know. This is our new senator. If Doug Jones can't beat him in Alabama. And most of the people say that he can't, but I'm not so sure because this man is so fringy. And remember, like 20% of the people vote in these Republican primaries, and these are the base people. These are the identity politics people. These are the people that think that, God is talking to them when, their football team wins. Oh, that's right. You don't have one. You got a plantation. You got the Crimson Tide where your players play for free. South's going to do it again, baby. Yeah, it's really sad. I mean, now, the loss to Mitch McConnell, it doesn't really make me weep. The fact that Trump lost and he already regrets his endorsement and he regretted it when he was making it just showed his character, and it doesn't make me weep. But I am sad for this country, and people are starting to wonder, what does this portend? Is this going to be another 2010 where the fringiest of the fringe actually get into the House and Senate? I don't know the answer to that. I would say, that if that's true, then it's time to really have a civil war, and not inside the Republican Party, but inside the United States. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.